Well, we just had a bit of a problem with our tickets.
Well, I'm actually a little bit saddened by it.
Okay, so my heart is broken.
Well, I have no idea what's going on.
If I don't get a sparkly Eiffel Tower, I'm going to stamp my feet by the end of the day.
Well, don't forget your muzzle. Hi, I'm Daz and she's Bee, and we're on a 12-week road trip round France with our boys and our greyhound Sammy. Join us as we explore the history, beauty and fun we can squeeze in while getting to grips with the challenges of working and home educating on the road as a family in France, living a life less ordinary as we escape in the motorhome. Right, good morning from the outskirts of Paris. We had a reasonably good night and we've managed to get the boys up early. It's still just before 9 and we're taking a 25-minute walk-ish to go and get our train into Paris and see the first of many sights.
Riverside Sammy.
For those of you that don't know, Sammy's racing name was Riverside Sammy.
So we're here buying tickets. We don't have a Navigo pass. And we want tickets for the Paris city, so we only want one zone, so it's 1 to 3 zone, full fare. Now these work out cheaper if you buy the book of 10 tickets, but they are phasing them out. So we're going to buy a book of 10 for now, and then next purchase, because we've got an under 10, we then want book for Paris city, reduced fare, and we'll get maybe 3 for now, to see how we go with that. Okay, so they only become valid when you tap them in on your journey, and then you've got an hour and a half, so we can just keep those as we go. So validate, and then payable by Visa. Okay, excellent. Yeah, we'll have a receipt just in case all goes wrong. Always ask for a receipt. Okay, and then out come our little tickets. Fairly simple. So Sammy can't travel on buses because he's too big, but he can travel on the train, so we'll be putting the muzzle in just a second. These are what the tickets look like. You have to tap them in on any journey within the hour and a half that you make if you change transport. Hopefully we'll just be going on the subway and the train today. The reduced fare tickets do say réduit on them, and we've got a nice wedge, so hopefully that'll keep us going today because we've got the boat as well. That's nice and easy.
Oh, don't forget your muzzle.
Oh yeah, I'm going to put the muzzle on. Ready, good boy. And then open it is. There's a good boy. Take it. So, stop number 1, Arc de Triomphe. And we've just spotted the Eiffel Tower as well, so much excitement. I'm not going to risk going across the road, but I think my son rightly spotted a very Roman Emperor looking Napoleon right there. I have been up the top a long time ago. Right boys, listen up because I've learned these. Okay, so I've got some juicy Arc de Triomphe nuggets for everyone. I don't know this history inside and out, so let's keep going. So it took 30 years to get the Arc de Triomphe from the ground up to where you see it now. Work started in about 1806. Napoleon wanted to have it in place, okay? So it was Napoleon's idea to have this great big triumphant arch that signified power, and it was a bit like what he understood about Rome and what him being the emperor. He had lots of ideas. He wanted to be like the Roman emperor too. He got married about 4 years later, and his route went from St. Cloud, which is a very nice place where he had a civil ceremony. The next day, he came through here, which is the Place de l'Étoile, and then it was going to go all the way through to the Palace of the Louvre. So him and his wife were supposed to pass through here. Trouble is, it was only about that high, okay, it was barely out of the ground, this arch that he wanted to have, so it had taken 4 years, it hadn't made much progress. So do you know what they did? They built wooden frames in the shape of an arch, they got loads of material, loads of canvas, and they had to make a fake arch for him and his wife from Austria to pass through during their wedding procession. And it cost over 500,000 francs to get it done. the workers, and there were hundreds of workers that were put into place to get this fake arch put into place, they rebelled because they said they weren't being paid enough. Quite a few of them were arrested, but eventually they got stopped. They were being paid 4 francs, and eventually they were being paid 24 francs to finish this fake framed art with canvas. Then Napoleon fell on his feet, but he was no longer the emperor, and a new king came along, so that was Louis XVIII. Louis XVIII wasn't sure whether he wanted it finished. Then eventually they said, yeah, we should finish it. Then he was no longer on the throne. Then it was Charles X. He wasn't sure that he wanted it finished. Then he ended up abdicating or something because the people didn't want him on the throne. And then finally, Louis Philippe, who was more of a popular king, he decided he wasn't sure whether it should be finished because of what it signified. It was a bit of a contentious arch. They did it very humbly, but lots of sort of important battles on the side of the arch, and it had a very quiet opening, a sort of nighttime lit by gas lamps, a little quiet opening, and it was finally finished 30 years after the idea from Napoleon. So all of those kings, I had no idea of that. We started with Emperor Napoleon. All of those kings passed by, so that was Louis XVIII, Charles X, and then finally Louis Philippe in the space of 30 years. So there you go, a bit about Arc de Triomphe, which may or may not be right. Well, we just had a bit of a problem with our tickets, but she's let us in anyway. We just heard that one ticket is not 1.5 hours of travelling, it's one journey, that's it. Okay, so I'm going to run onto the tree now. So that's worth bearing in mind. You can't hop on and hop off. Oh my gosh. You can't hop on and hop off like we thought you could for 1.5 hours. Apparently, one ticket is one journey. So, worth bearing in mind. Number 1, it's made of iron, not steel, and it's made of puddle iron. I'll try and find out what puddle iron is in a minute. It's 300 metres tall, and of course people say it's been built, well, it's been designed by Gustave Eiffel in 1889 for the Paris World Fair. Now he won a competition to build this particular structure, and actually, apparently, according to some sources, there were 2 other younger designers that gave him the plans for the Eiffel Tower. He decided to make some tweaks to it, paid for their plans, and then used it, and of course it's now been given his name. But did he really not design it? Eiffel Tower has been open for visitors since 1889 when it opened. The only occasions when it was closed was during World War II and during the COVID-19 pandemic.
It should go without saying, but if you see any of these tricksters in the streets, don't fall for it. The streets are literally paved with, what should we call them, entrepreneurs? Should you wish to come away with a little souvenir.
Really want a sparkly Eiffel Tower. If I don't get a sparkly Eiffel Tower, I'm going to stamp my feet by the end of the day. I wonder if Daz will treat me to one. Probably stop working by the time we get home. So Sammy and I have just gone into the public toilets and queued for quite a long time, and we're now having a chill on our mat just outside the Eiffel Tower whilst the boys are up on level 2. Yeah, we could definitely do with a few more public toilets in Paris, but I had a lovely chat with an Australian chap behind me who had a long flight and was in Paris for 4 days, and suggested he could take hold of Sammy whilst I went to the toilet, but unfortunately he had to go and catch his coach. But Sammy was big enough to go inside the large public toilet, which went through this great big long clean cycle after each person used it. So there was a queue of about 8 people after me, but I was nice and quick. Sammy did not want to go inside, but he just had to chill.
Here we go. Okay, so we were left with getting the on foot up the stairs tickets. It's great, no queue, through security, you can actually get into the area beneath the Eiffel Tower without needing tickets, although it looks like you, as you queue up, it looks like you do, but you don't. And there's toilets in here, because if you don't use the toilets here, they're miles away. Anyway, honestly, we've gone for about 5 flights and I feel knackered and my calves are burning. This is going to be interesting. Let's see if we can get it all the way up. The boys are very keen on seeing the spot where the man jumped from to demonstrate his flying suit, which, as you all know, failed. So we didn't realise, but whilst looking down from above and what else was around here, it's changed a bit since I last came here, we suddenly realised we were actually standing on a glass panel way above the ground. We're getting used to these now, aren't we? Well, I'm actually a little bit saddened by how different it is up here. The whole of the upstairs, half of it's cut off over there, is some sort of theatre. There's a bistro. It's become more like a retail park up here, with cramming in cafes and restaurants or shops right upstairs. So there's just a little walkway around the middle and even less to look at. So we're going to try and find some good viewpoints on the outside. So our hot spots are the Arc de Triomphe, La Défense, oh yes, and then somewhere way down the river over there is the little lady Liberty. These guys are getting hungry and thirsty, so we're going to make use of the new cafe facilities once we've checked out his info boards, otherwise B will kill me for not having loads of history nuggets while I've been up here. So hopefully somewhere down there is also our stopping station for the Bateau bus that will take us all the way around the Seine to see all the sights. Okay, sorry B, there's no history nugget stuff up here. I would go on my phone except I've got 3 hungry squirrels, so I'll do some cutaways and B might fill in now. Yeah, as well as barriers blocking you from walking on the glass, there are further sections over there where things are blocked off. That's a real shame. Anyway, I won't spoil it for the kids, we've got lots to look at, so. And then we've got to climb up there. €5 for a pretzel? You won't find me buying that.
Cents per bite. Don't put it on the video!
Well, Phoenix very cleverly spotted the Sacré-Cœur over here, but originally thought it might be Disneyland. That's in 2 days' time. At this point, I should say something clever like how many steps it is up to the first and second floor. But the answer is lots. So in the absence of B, I've got a couple of factoids for you. First of all, although it's supposed to be a feat of French engineering, the lifts actually came from New York. And secondly, 1909, at the end of Gustave's contract, the Parisians were wondering what to do with the Eiffel Tower, whether to tear it down or not. And from his office at the top, he managed to convince them to keep it for purposes of radio. And there's Sammy and B. We just said hello to them. From way up here on the second tier of the Eiffel Tower.
That's cool. Just got a phone call from Daz. They're on the second floor now, so somewhere up there, Daz and the kids.
Dad, I'm gonna read it.
Now we're in the Eiffel Towers exercise. We've got eaten by it.
Apparently, yep, we've been eaten by the Eiffel Tower and we're in his guts, which is a lovely way of looking at it. So we're actually down one of his legs, if it's an animal, and one of his legs happens to smell of food, which when you're hungry and it's past lunchtime, it's not
It smells
helpful.
like noodles.
It's only making us more, yeah, it smells like noodles, which is obviously the kids' road trip favourite. So let's get some food.
here in the Love Juice Bar, and we've got avocado on toast, vegan tuna on toast coming, a peanut butter bowl of some sweet or salted caramel bowl that my teenager has ordered, and lattes and milkshakes and chia puddings and all sorts of good stuff. So putting some good stuff in our belly for the afternoon, and then maybe some treats later on this evening.
And Paris won't disappoint you pharmacy sign fans out there like me.
I just can't see the beautiful expanse of Paris's biggest square. And even the fountain is switched off. This is not cricket. Well, it's not cricket, it's rugby. Okay, so my heart is broken. This Place de la Concorde does not look like Place de la Concorde. But boys, what you need to know is it hasn't always been called Place de la Concorde. Can you think of what it used to be called? Any ideas? Think about what happened here.
The head shopping.
Place de la Head Shopping. It could have been that. It's getting close. Anything else? Any other ideas?
Place de the guillotine.
Place de la Guillotine. It's a good name, but it's not right anymore. Think about why were there beheadings?
Place de the Revolution.
Ding, 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 ding. 100 points to my teenager. It was called Place de la Revolution. In fact, it's been named after Louis as well, but it's back to Place de la Concorde now. So there's been a lot of beheadings in this square. Most notably Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette, whose head was held up and shown to the crowd after the French Revolution. Nearly 2,500 people were killed during the French Revolution and had their heads cut off by guillotine. Most of them took place in this square. Some of them took place in the Bastille. But all of the people that were guillotined during the time of the Terror and of the French Revolution, 1,200 of them were killed here in the Place de la Concorde. So we're having a little rest in the shade. Sammy's having a well-earned rest there after lolloping around a very hot Paris this afternoon. But the reason why I'm recording this here is because we are heading off to Les Invalides. Now, I have to record that now because I literally just looked up online how to say Les Invalides, and I will forget later. So, with the voice that I just heard on YouTube, we're off to Les Invalides. And it's a series of military museums. And the reason why we're going there is because we're going to go and see Napoleon's tomb. So I've also got some audio guys and that are going to take us around some of the other military paraphernalia that they're going to have on display. How are you enjoying your trip to Paris so far, Daddy?
It's lovely and warm.
Yes.
And I've seen a few new things already. It's coming up to 4 and I feel like we've hardly done anything on the way though. I feel like we ticked off like one big thing, the Eiffel Tower. We had so many other plans.
I have to confess, like we spoke about with London, you do one thing. Here we were merrily ticking off, we can do this, this and this, as if we were skipping along on our fairy bicycles without children and dog in tow. And not needing to eat or go to the toilet. Tomorrow, where there's less things booked in, it'll be a little bit easier.
If there's anyone out there who wants to sponsor us with 5 e-scooters for the day, that'd be lovely.
Oh yes, please.
But I also said to B, you've got to leave something in Paris to come back to. So we're leaving loads.
Not that much. I have high hopes for completing tomorrow.
We'll make up for it tomorrow.
Completed it, mate. Paris. So some more facts about the Place de la Concorde. It looks like a giant square, but it's actually an octagon. It was built on marshland. Apparently when the Seine overflowed, it was very marshy around the Place de la Concorde. Louis XV had a beautiful equestrian statue put in the Place de la Concorde, but unfortunately during the French Revolution it was replaced with a guillotine.
So there's the Petit Palace. Judging by the size of it, I'm not actually sure what part of it is Petit. I highly doubt it's the entrance fee.
Hey Napoleon, we're coming for you. Look, battle bus. I've got so many memories over the last 3 months, and I seem to have some sort of memory deficit today every time I try and recall something. But you know what? I'm going to spend the next year trying to recall all the wonderful places that we've been to in Paris. Just so many little memories just ping up and you go, where was that? Where was that? So I need my little map. So here we are at the Musée de l'Armée, and it's an incredible building. So this is somewhere we've never been in Paris before. So Musée de l'Armée, which is going to lead onto the golden dome that you see behind there, and apparently that is where Napoleon's remains lay after they were dug up from one place and brought here. This is where we leave you, Daddy. Okay, love you and leave you. Take care. There's Napoleon. I just had a little bit of a stressful mum moment. So I ran out of data about 2 hours ago, which is fine because I can connect to Daz's. It happens at the end of every month in France. I just don't seem to have enough just to tide me over, and I'm barely watching any videos or anything. I've got unlimited when I'm at home, but it's not the case when you're in France. It's very, very different. So I thought I downloaded all the tickets for the Musée de l'Armée, and I hadn't. I downloaded the audio guide, and he would not let us come into the Dome Church because he had to scan us in. He would not let us come in without our tickets being scanned. I could see that they had Wi-Fi here, so I tried to connect to the Wi-Fi to download the tickets. It kept coming up as an error, so we had to walk out. I had a little cry because that's what I do when I get stressed, and then I realised I hadn't clicked on the terms and conditions of connecting to the Wi-Fi, which is something you've got to do. Sometimes you go to connect to it, but then there's another little extra step that you've got to go tick for the terms and conditions and then finally connect to it. And as soon as I did that, lots of messages popped up. You might be thinking, why didn't you call Daz in a crisis like that? Well, Daz has got a different set of data, and it means that his actual phone number, when you try and ring it, doesn't actually work. So I might be texting him today. He's not getting any of the texts. So I couldn't actually get hold of him even if I wanted to. With Wi-Fi, I can call him on WhatsApp. But I wasn't connected to Wi-Fi at the time.
Well, I have no idea what's going on, except there are thousands of cyclists going past. A couple of old CVs beeping away. If that's a bike tour, that's the weirdest, biggest bike tour I've ever seen. Apparently it never ends. Maybe it just goes around Paris in a big loop. Oh no, just to say that it does end.
So the other day when we were talking about fortifications, and I was walking around and saying, oh, these are UNESCO ones because they're Vauban. Here's his funeral tomb. I don't know whether I heard it right on the audio guide, but it suggests his heart's in there, but I might be wrong. Napoleon's brother's tomb. Entrance to the crypt.
While the tomb's planning started in 1840, it was only completed 2 decades later, after Louis Philippe I, his architect, and main sculptors had all died in the meantime.
Phoenix has just found this model of the Bastille, and we're going to go and see the ruins of the Bastille either today or tomorrow. Well, we're going to call it a day there. We really have done a whistle-stop tour of all of the Napoleon bits and bobs, but that's what was of interest to us at this time. Really excellent museum, definitely worth going round if you've got at least a day. There's so much to see, and the audio guide just brings everything to life. That's really important. It's €5 per person. I highly recommend getting that because you don't have to just read all the signs all the time. In the middle of a 30-minute walk for vegan burgers. Better be worth it. Oh, I'm tired, and the kids have walked further than us today. Daz and I have tag teamed it. He did the Eiffel Tower, I did the Musée de l'Armise. But the kids have done it all.
I wouldn't say the kids have done it all, Bea.
Oh, very busy. Naked burger, I see it, I see it. Wildcats. Someone has reached his limit. It's Dad, but also Sam. Oh, Sammy, are you tired? Oh, baby dog, you've been such a good boy. Ah, naked burger. I think we're all a bit broken, aren't we? Lots of walking. Sammy's not interested in eating. Hopefully he'll have some chips, but he's got his water there. Well, I think after our virtuous lunch of smoothies and all kinds of delicious raw food, we are allowed dirty burgers and dirty nuggets for tea. And my goodness me, they're good. Au revoir, merci. Hello.
Recharged and refueled, we set off for our next stop.
Okay, I've seen berets at €5 in the stall behind me. Now, before I leave Paris, I'm going to get myself another beret. I used to have a jade one when I was a student. I've had red ones, I have a black one, and I often look like Frank Spencer in it, but I definitely want to go. I'm thinking maybe pink, maybe a blue, maybe a green, but definitely want a colourful beret. I'm done with my black one. Look at Notre Dame peeking around the corner. I don't know if you can see that beautiful fountain behind me, but we were walking along and the guys went to the Carrefour to get some drinks, and I thought to myself, I recognise that, and I know where I recognise it from. We have this children's very popular beautiful book, and quite a lot of people like it. It's a walk around Paris. It's got a very interesting sounding author. A walk around Paris. A grandfather takes his granddaughter around Paris to all of these different sites. The first place they go to, they come up on the metro and they're outside a fountain, and it's apparently this communal place where people like to meet for rendezvous. And I've always looked at it and gone, I've been to Paris multiple times and I've never seen this fountain, and it's the first place they go to. I think I just found it. I think this is it. Oh my gosh, look at that fire damage there. That's astonishing, those pictures of what the fire did. Oh look, a massive hole ripped into the very heart of the cathedral. When I took this photo, I noticed the soft light glowing from below, where the altar had been. Debris on the left of the vault encircled the light. Oh.
But it's not all doom and gloom. The street entertainers keep everyone happy, including this guy who looks like he's on his break from delivering parcels.
So it's the spire and the framework of the nave that's been lost in the fire, and this is where they're harvesting the trees to replace it. It's 1,000 oak trees, including 8 oaks of exceptional width and length for the base of the spire. Wow. So just leaving the Notre Dame now, and we're going to go and find the remains of the Bastille.
So unfortunately Notre Dame was behind boards because of the fire, I forgot about that. But as we walk through Paris at night time, it's wonderfully mild. Everybody's hanging out in the bars, everyone's cycling around at 200 miles an hour. There's music in the boat going past under the bridge. So we're going to go and tick off one last thing. So we've seen Notre Dame, we're going to tick off one last thing, which is the remains of the Bastille, which apparently is just a couple of rocks on the other side of this bridge. We're not going to get all the way back to Eiffel Tower for the 9 o'clock light show, because that is literally happening now. And the next time it does it is at 10 o'clock. And I think the boys and Sammy are putting such a good effort today that the only thing we can do realistically is get them home, get them to bed, and try again tomorrow. Right, now where's this Bastille? So we think this might be here behind this hedge. Just gonna try and find out if there's a plaque or if this is just some building works that are underway.
It's really big one. No way. You'd think they'd make more of it than that.
What does that say down there?
Wow.
Yeah, we were just saying, given the Bastille Day is one of the biggest celebrated days in France, it seems a bit weird if that really is the remains of the Bastille, and it's slightly overgrown, with a bit of fencing around it, a tree growing out the middle, and no history plaque.
We have our fireworks tonight, which is a massive, massive occasion in the UK. Bastille Day is the biggest national holiday and firework display across the nation. So why is it that this place, this significant prison, is not labelled with any kind of historic significance? There's no plaques or anything. It's almost like it's behind a fence to be forgotten. Really odd. Just make out the word foundation and just make out the word Bastille.
That was me.
Well done, well done. Oh wow, it's kicking in there. Where is it? Restaurant Anus. It nearly works. Made me giggle anyway, even with the wrong spelling. Wow, what a day. We have been out all day today. It's been fantastic. We've done so much. We're all looking forward to getting back to bed, ready to do it all again tomorrow. Hopefully a bit more relaxed though. Very proud of our kids, very proud of the dog. They've done extremely well today. We've squeezed the life, as we always do, out of our day and seen so much of Paris, and there's still so much more to do tomorrow.
Join us next time when we find more treats, visit the Louvre Museum, take a riverboat cruise, and we enjoy a beautiful sunset over Paris as we wait for the Eiffel Tower to light up and mark the end of the second and final day in Paris. That's all for now. Until our next escape, thanks for watching.